It's the Thursday Checkdown. I'm your host, Greg Kellogg, and I'm here with my good friend and co-host, Mr. Tipp Major. Tipp, how you doing tonight?
I am great, Greg. How are you, man? I'm happy. You know what? I'm happy that Christmas is coming to an end. I'm ready for the new year. I'm ready to celebrate. Christmas was great, and I know it was great for you, and I hope it was great for all of you out there. But yeah, I'm ready to go. It's week 17.
Yeah, and I hope everybody has a championship team, unlike me, who lost in the first round and then had huge days in the second week when it was too late. God, I hate this game sometimes, but I still love it. I do. Hey, listen, we've got some really special guests. First of all, the founder of the fantasy football universe, Mr. Jeremy Shulman. Jeremy, how you doing, buddy?
Yeah, Greg, thank you so much for having me on. I should say co-founder, do the fantasy football universe over with Aaron St. Dennis, Jesse Moeller, and SC Romero. Something we started at the beginning of the year, so super excited about that. But the first year's been rough, man.
Jesse Moeller?
Yeah, no. Jesse J Moeller 05 on Twitter.
Oh, okay.
That's his Twitter handle. Yeah, so we've been running it for about a year now, and super happy with the progress we've made. So. Look, just in these content streets all season long, but it's a rough ride, getting through to week 17. So we're rookies in the game, but we're moving on, man. Yeah.
There's some people that are going to do their championship next week. That seems insane to me. But we've got a special guest who is actually my replacement when I go to the Philippines. Mr. Joe Carlton is our Joe this week because our regularly scheduled goal, Joe, Mr. Glenn Karant. Thank you. Had a family emergency and could not make it. And we're praying for Glenn and his family that everything's good. But, hey, we got a great Joe here. We got an actual Joe here. How you doing, Joe?
I'm good. Glad to be on again and get another rep in and try to get good at this thing. I appreciate it.
All right, so we're going to talk about a lot of things tonight. We're going to give you some studs to sit. We're going to give you some, some sleepers to start. We're going to do the mailbag as we always do. But first, I got to let you know that behind the scenes, you got JC and Iggy from the Sports Affiliation. Give them a shout out. Go to YouTube. Subscribe to their channel, man. They're great, and they're year-round. They're not just football. They do other sports. So we're starting tonight with 2AI or not 2AI. Should we use artificial intelligence? A lot of people spend a lot of money on different fantasy websites. Well, you can get the Sports Mind AI relatively cheaply, and we're going to be interviewing the mind behind the Sports Mind. I think February 6th. Joe will be on that show interviewing Connor Ludlam, and he's going to have a special discount code for our listeners. It's already cheap. It's $60 a year or $10 a month, and we're going to get a discount on top of that. So we've been testing them all year. Last week, we asked them for week 16 in a PPR league that also gives points for return yards. Please rank Najee Harris, Rico Dowdle, and who was the other one? Adam Thielen with the pros and cons. And SMAI predicted Dowdle, Thielen, and Harris. The crowd and I both agreed. So were we right? Well, Dowdle scored 8.1. That's not he didn't finish first. Thielen scored 15.3. He finished second, which is basically what the crowd predicted. And Harris was the last. So, Thielen finished first. So Thielen and Dowdle swap places. Okay, so this week we're going week 17 in a PPR league that also gives points for return yards. Please rank Tank Bigsby, Hollywood Brown. Now we know what Hollywood did. And Hunter Henry with pros and cons. We also asked the crowd. The crowd thought 43% like Tank Bigsby, and they had a whole day knowing what Hollywood did. So they closed the gap, but 46% wanted Hollywood Brown as number one. Only 11% with Hunter Henry. Now, here was my take. I wrote this before the games yesterday. Tank Bigsby has the easiest matchup, but he also has the smallest snapshot. Okay, while he splits touches with Travis Etienne, Bigsby is more likely to score than Etienne, but Etienne catches more passes. Hollywood Brown, in his first game this year, Brown saw the field just 14 snaps, right? But he was targeted on 57% of those plays, 8 times. And while Pittsburgh is a tough opponent and the game will be played outside, I think the weather's not expected to be an issue. Well, it wasn't yesterday, not really. Hunter Henry likely has the safest floor this week, but he also has the most limited ceiling. I suspect he'll finish with 9 to 14 points, and my strong suspicion is that he'll be on the low end against the tough Chargers defense.
Yes.
But I'm going with Brown, despite the matchup, followed by Bigsby and Henry.
Look, Greg, I know we got a Pats fan in here. I know we got a Patriots fan in here. But go ahead, just say it. Hunter Henry is not going to be a starter this week.
No revenge game. No revenge game. Come on.
No revenge game.
Chargers are very good against tight ends.
I hear you. I hear you. I'm not talking about Drake May today.
I want to know what the AI thinks. What does Sir Winnington say?
Final ranking for Week 17, Hunter Henry. Given his TE position and fairly stable targets, he seems like your safest pick, especially in PPR format, despite the defensive matchup. Marquise Brown, with increased opportunity and return yard point potential, he might defy his ranking with a breakout performance. Tank Bigsby, while he has goal line potential, his variance and lack of involvement in passing make him the riskier play. Choosing between these players depends on how much risk you're willing to take. If you need consistency, Henry is the go-to. If aiming for a high upside play, Hollywood Brown could provide that spark.
So he went Henry, and then Bigsby, and then Hollywood.
And Greg, I have that because that was a condensed version of the actual answer that Sir Whittington gave. So I went ahead and put it in the chat. So if you guys really want to go in depth into it, you can do that as well. It's bunched up or it's broken up because it's just a long text. But other than that, yeah, I just wanted to let everybody know that.
So JC, what's up next? So this day in history, December 26, 1848, the first gold seekers arrive in Panama en route to San Francisco. Are any of your teams going for gold this week? I'm going to start it off and say, nope. I had 2 teams in the playoffs, and they both lost with terrible performances in week 15. And then in week 16, both of them had huge days, but it was too late. But I want to know, Jeremy, how about you? Do you have any teams going for the gold?
Yeah, doing okay. Not as good as last year. I had 8 teams in the ship last year, but only won 2. It was a rough championship week for me last year. I had 3 teams in the ship this year, but so far 2 out of the 3 look like a lock. The third one's up in the air. So if I can win 3 out of 3, we already had a better year than last year. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, crossing my fingers this week.
Hey, you already got a better percentage. If 2 are locks, that's already a better 2 out of 8. It's not good. Nearly as good as 2 out of 3. Tipp, what about you, buddy?
I got 1 league that I'm left in. It's the Football Guys League. So I've been doing pretty well in that one, but I had Jalen Hurts. So I had to pick up Bryce Young off the waivers there. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen in this one. It should be interesting. I did.
Hey, you were in Scott Fish too, didn't you? Do pretty good there.
Yeah, I'm out now. I ended up ranking. I'm number 90. So I missed the 50. 50 was the cut. So I missed it this past game around because basically I didn't play Mark Andrews and I didn't play there was somebody else. Kareem Hunt. I didn't play Kareem Hunt. And those two they came back and bit me this week, man. And I don't know. I don't know what I was thinking. I just was last week I was really thinking that Mark Andrews is going to slow down a little bit, and so I may have said Mark Henry, but Mark Andrews is what I'm talking about. And then so I kind of dropped the ball on that. I was a little upset with myself. I'm still trying to get over it because I had so much promise. I had so much promise to get to the top 50, but I'm going to sit with this one for a couple of weeks, and I'm going to come back stronger next year.
So, Jeremy, were you in Scott Fishbowl this year?
Yeah, I was. Week 14 couldn't survive the bye weeks of Lamar Jackson and Joe Mixon, who has done nothing since. But yeah, it was a tough bye week, so I got bounced in week 14.
This was my third year in Scott Fishbowl. First year I didn't make the playoffs. The second year I made it to the second week of the playoffs, so I got past the first week. This year I entered the playoffs with a 5-15 record. No chance. I'm not going to the playoffs. I had probably my worst year ever. But Joe, I got to ask you, buddy, are you in Scott Fishbowl?
I am. I was in last year and this year. I made the playoffs both years. I think last year I got knocked out in the second week or the third week. I can't remember, to be honest with you. But this year I got knocked out in the third week. I made it to the third week and then was eliminated.
That's pretty good. People don't realize Scott Fishbowl is a big deal. Not only does it raise a lot of money for charity, but 4,000 teams, and there's 40,000 on the waiting list. A lot of people want to get into.
Yeah,
Scott's
that's crazy.
league.
That's crazy.
I
want to shout out. I want to shout out the live Boston crew because I was part of that draft and they did it up nice this year.
You don't even have a Boston accent. What are you talking about?
There was the bidding war. The bidding war that I got in on a Ty Law autographed jersey was crazy. I raised a lot of money for somebody because I ended up losing. I hope
you won that one.
No, I lost. Me and Sal. I asked Sal Leto. I was like, "Should I go any higher?" And he was like, "End it."
Of course you should. He's a Michigan player.
No, he said, "End it right there." I said, "I agree." And I let the guy who outbid me. He won like 11 out of the 15 jerseys that were in basketballs and footballs that were there. So I don't feel bad. I jacked up the price. I did my job.
Wait a minute. We gotta get to your champs. You got any championship games?
I got one team. I play on the NFFC platform, mid to high stakes. I'm big on the online challenge. I usually get a 3-pack. They convinced me to do 4 this year because they had a live. I was going to the live New York draft for the prime time, and they did a surprise 350, and they convinced me to enter that. So I had 4 this year, but I only got 1 to the shootout. Finished 5th. I entered the 58th overall out of 4,500 teams, so that's pretty good.
Wow,
that's very good. Any regular league championships in your future?
This is a regular league, so the wins and losses. So I had the most points, but there was a guy that finished with the best record. So I have to play against him for 3 weeks. And right now I'm winning 385 to 360. You start with your weekly average, and then it's all the points added for 3 weeks. And I had Lamar Jackson already play, so it's going to be very close. To be honest with you,
so
this is for the league title. This is for the league title. Yeah.
But you got to go into week 18.
No, this is the last week. This is the last week.
Oh, okay. Right. So you started in week 15 then?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
15,
that's
16,
pretty cool.
17.
I don't know if JC is there to take us to the next segment or not. He stepped away. So I'll just introduce it. JC, can you play the intro? So every week, there are people that you need to sit, regardless of their status. I say there's studs to sit every week. Nobody is an instant starter every week, and we've been pretty good on this. Last week we were 2-2, That puts us at 27. No, that's the wrong one. Sorry. Last week we were 1-2-1, which puts us at 33, 21, and 10, which is 594 for the year. Okay. If anybody ever tells you always start your studs, run away from them. They don't know what they're talking about. We're about 60% on telling you top 12 players at their position to sit. 60% right. Okay. And these aren't bums. These are studs that just aren't playing well or are injured. We don't let you take doubtful players or out players as your stud. You got to take somebody that's expected to play and you just don't think they're going to perform up to studly levels. For me this week, I'm going with Jerry Jeudy. Okay. I got to tell you, I love the idea of sitting Jerry Jeudy this week. His previous 3 games with Jameis Winston under center, he was targeted on average 11 times per game. With Dorian Thompson-Robinson, 3 passes went his way. Just 3. 2 catches, all right? Winston was inactive last week, and who knows what the Browns are thinking now. I think once you pull a starter for performance reasons, it's very hard to go back to him because you're admitting that you made a mistake, and coaches don't do that. So I don't know if DTR is going to play this week, but I don't think it's going to be Jameis Winston. DTR is dealing with a calf injury. So if it's not Jameis Winston, it's going to be Bailey Zappi. Okay. He did serve as the backup last week. I don't see Stefanski reinserting Winston. And because of the uncertainty at quarterback, I think it's going to have a negative impact on all the Browns receivers, with the potential exception of Njoku. Njoku might have a good game. And then they're also playing Miami's pass defense, which is no joke. They allow the 5th least fantasy points to wide receivers. This is one stud I'm confident in sitting. Jeremy, who are you going to sit this week?
Yeah, I hate to do it, but I'm going to sit Malik Neighbors. First of all, I totally agree with you on Jerry Jeudy. The DTR thing or whatever's going on in Cleveland is ridiculous. That would have been my pick. But because I was forced to pick someone else, I'm going to pick Malik Neighbors. In his last, it looks like 7 games, has not been a wide receiver 2 or better, but 1 time. And that was against Baltimore. We know how atrocious their pass defense is. So against Indy, they've been a little bit better in the secondary the last couple of weeks. I don't think that Malik Neighbors is going to throw up a 0 or anything. You can flex him, but as a wide receiver 1 or even a wide receiver 2, it's going to be a little scary. The targets will be there, but unfortunately with Drew Lock or whoever the heck the Giants are dragging out behind center these days, whoever it's going to be ugly once again for Neighbors, unfortunately.
I am remiss. This is not my section. This is Tipp's section. He should be calling on people, but Tipp, why don't you give us yours now, and then you can introduce Joe after you're done.
Absolutely. No, we can roll with it, Greg. It was good. So my player to sit this week, and you guys will find out why I'm laughing in just a second, is a player who's going against the defense who's only allowed 4 receiving touchdowns to the tight end on the season. This team has been very tough against the tight ends. They'll give up some yards a little bit, but they're really tough against the tight ends. And this tight end in himself, he's been getting targeted here as of late, especially with the offense starting to click and come together. But he still hasn't gotten that touchdown, and that's what he was known for in the touchdown. And you know what? Tipp was wrong. Yes, I was wrong because I put Travis Kelce as my stud to sit. And what does he do yesterday? He goes and grabs 80 catches for 84 yards and a touchdown. I'm like, what is going on here? What's wrong with the Pittsburgh Steelers? The Pittsburgh Steelers got beat up yesterday.
I got to call Tipp out here. Tipp and I both chose a player from yesterday's game. I chose it in the put me in coach, and we were both wrong, but we stuck with that player. We did not change it when we knew we were wrong.
Yeah, we do.
Look, so I want to give Tipp kudos for that.
Oh yeah,
not for going with Kelce, which I think was stupid anyway. But
look, I was of the effect that look, Travis Kelce is just trying to get through this the rest of this regular season, and then he's going to turn it on in the playoffs. And now we're seeing Travis Kelce. We're seeing what we could eventually see in the playoffs, people. This offense is already starting to click. They got Hollywood Brown back. This offense is starting to get scary. I think it's what we wanted to see at the beginning of the season when they had Rashee Rice, when they were fully healthy to an extent. So I think that we are about to start seeing, maybe after these next 2 weeks, because they're probably going to rest the Chiefs players. But in the playoffs, I think that we just got a taste of what we're about to see.
Jeremy, I was in the Army 10 years. Now, pardon the language, we had sergeants that would bitch slap us, okay? They would come up behind us and just smack us in the back of the head.
Not behind
I got to ask you, you're the pro, Jeremy. If you knew that Tipp was choosing Kelce before last week's game, before Saturday's game, would you have bitch slapped him?
Just not from behind. You can bitch slap me in front of my face, not from behind.
Yeah, you got to be a man and face. You got to be a man and face it, right? But look. Would I have been a little hesitant about starting Travis Kelce? Yes, it's been really bad for him at the run up. I will say though, in 2 of my 3 championship matchups, I started Travis Kelce, and I was very happy about it. But it was a total like cross your fingers and just pray and hope. So,
Joe, would you have bitch slapped him?
I would have, and I'll tell you why. Okay. A big quote around New England is the season doesn't start until the end of November, early December. And the same goes for this Kansas City Chiefs teams. Okay. And Travis, I said it last week, Travis Kelce and Xavier Worthy is their gravy right now, and they're going to start going to that gravy to get ready for the playoffs. And Tipp corrected himself. He said it already. It's a preview of what we're going to see. And I 100% agree with that. So yes, I would have done one of those bitch slap things that you were talking about.
So who would you sit this week?
My stud to sit in week 16. Oh wait, we're in 17. Week 17 is Bo Nix. So if you roster Bo Nix, it's likely that you have been mixing and matching quarterbacks all year. So whatever you got for another option, I would probably roll with. Guys on my mind that are like Jared Goff, Matt Stafford, Baker Mayfield, dare I say Drake May for the rushing upside. All guys I prefer over Bo Nix this week.
I got to stop you a minute. You said Jared Goff. Goff plays Monday night. And I believe Sunday night, you have the Green Bay, Minnesota game.
Okay.
If Minnesota loses that game, Detroit could lose the rest of their games and still have the number 1 seed. Are you at all concerned that if Minnesota loses, Goff only plays part of the game?
See, wait. So we
wait a
talked
minute.
A little bit about this.
Didn't Dan Campbell go off on a rant about laying into about killing this team and playing to win? And I believe him. I think I believe him.
Yeah,
I believe him. But you know what kind of crap would he take if he plays Gibbs and he plays Amon-Ra and he plays Goff and they all get injured in a game that has no meaning?
They all get injured.
If any of them get injured. If any of them miss the playoffs,
I don't think he cares.
He's playing essentially a meaningless game.
He probably doesn't.
I
love Herm Edwards because of some stupid reporter asked him about, wouldn't it be better if you lost the game? And he goes, you play to win the game. Yeah, I love that. But you can play to win the game with your backups in.
They are quarterback proof. I'll say that. I suppose.
Well, Greg, I mean, and you know they did pick up Teddy Bridgewater today. He came out of retirement.
Did he sign? Because I
signed.
Yeah.
They said he was going to.
So there's some signs. There is
some little something to it.
That just tells me they're not sure Hendon Hooker can be the guy if Goff goes down. That's what that tells me. So, I hate interrupting you like that, and I should let you go back. Did you have the reason the Bo Nix one really struck a chord with me is because Tipp and I do a question and answer show at 4 o'clock our time on Thursday. So an hour ago, we were basically answering the question, Bo Nix or Anthony Richardson. Tipp went with Bo Nix to start.
Yep.
I went with Anthony Richardson. Who would you go with, Joe?
Well, Anthony Richardson missed practice again, so I don't know his status. I would wait for his status, but I can see why Tipp would say Bo Nix over Anthony Richardson for sure, given what we know right now.
But he's your stud to sit.
No, he said Bo Nix's.
This is a stats, so I'm not a fan of so
He's not a fan of either. I got you.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. He just thinks Richardson may be worse than Nix.
Richardson has a higher upside if you're choosing between the. Richardson could be ruled out if he's missing practice. That means he might not be running as much, and that limits his upside. So Bo Nix is probably the safer play between those two, but I don't like either. It's supposed to be heavy rains, heavy winds, cold weather. Cincinnati defense in the last 3 weeks has been significantly better than their previous 12. What else?
Wind and rain, that's going to impact Burrow and Chase. And
Cincinnati,
too, right?
Cincinnati has to win out to make the playoffs. So I'm expecting them to beat Denver, and I just think Bo Nix's numbers are going to be limited. There's that 28, 25, 23. I play in 6-point touchdown, so I'll go back to for 4 touchdown passes. You're saying like 20. I don't think he gets the 20 points this week. It will take like a shootout, and I don't think a shootout happens because Denver's defense is pretty good. They're gonna. I think that they're not gonna allow Cincinnati to run the score up. It's gonna be a dirty, ugly game. Running backs are gonna be involved. It's got 3 of them, 2 or 3 of them. And it's just going to be an ugly game. Bo Nix, his ceiling's limited.
It would be a shootout earlier.
So did I.
But we didn't know about the weather. So I want to ask Jeremy, what do you think about Chase Brown this week?
Yeah, Chase Brown's interesting because for whatever reason he didn't get home really last week. He really needs to have that volume to succeed. We know that at Chase Brown, but he's the only guy. And so the only time he doesn't get that volume is if both Jamar Chase and T. Higgins get off. And then Chase Brown still ends up getting some of that volume sometimes. He's my RB11 this week, so I don't hate it. It is a tougher matchup. I'd love to rank him higher. But yeah, I think this game is going to be a little bit more higher scoring. I don't really care about the weather. It's Joe Burrow. It's Sean Payton. And I just want to say, to bring it all back around full circle, I don't put it past Dan Campbell to bitch slap a reporter, but he's going to square up to that guy. He's not going to do it for behind. So
I love Dan Campbell. Joe, I got to ask you, because I've been singing the praises of 3 rookies all year, and none of them have lived up to the praises I've been singing. But this week, we know that Gus Bus is out. As far as I know, J.K. Dobbins is out. Do we finally get to see a full load for Kamani Vidal, do you think?
Is Dobbins definitely out? I didn't.
I don't know if he is or not, but he was reactivated.
Yeah, he was out today.
He was given the 21-day window to come back from IR, but as far as I know, he has not been activated. Okay. He's been in that window.
Yeah. Kamani Vidal would probably do very good this week because the Patriots can't stop the run. They can't.
That's true.
You got any running back with burst gets chunk plays on us for sure.
All right, well, Jeremy, where do you have Vidal ranked?
That's a good question. Although I do want to add, as I looked that up, that Hassan Haskins is interesting because for some reason they like him over there. I think it's that connection with Jim Harbaugh long ago. He's not interesting enough for me.
3 years ago.
He is not interesting enough for me to play for sure, but he's interesting enough for me to question Kamani Vidal. I haven't changed Vidal's rankings since Gus Edwards was ruled out because I don't think that was official earlier today. I have him at 41 right now. I think with Edwards out, he goes up to about the mid 30s, 34, 35.
Well, so maybe a flex, but no more.
Yeah, for me, yeah.
Not even a running back too, huh?
Yeah, Jay. Well, I'd love to see it. JC, we got to pay the bills. JC, take us to commercial.
Yeah.
Find your win tuition and elevate your sports betting with Better Takes. Better Takes examines your betting history to uncover hidden areas that cause bankroll leaks. Uncover patterns and biases so you can break the cycle of mistakes, avoid weaknesses, and play into your strengths. Our advanced stats offer unparalleled granularity, helping you immediately spot problem areas that could be affecting your success. Use the Better Takes Edge score to gauge your expertise for each potential bet, providing clarity and confidence in your decisions. Take control of your betting journey. Download Better Takes from the Apple App Store or Google Play today and start understanding your biases for free. Before placing bets, check with Better Takes, a smarter, more informed approach to sports betting.
Okay, Tipp, the rest of the show is yours. You get both of the next two sections.
We're good. Hey, you know what, Greg? I'm going to say I'm really proud of the way we've done the Put Me in Coach segment here as of late, because last week we finished 2-2, but on the year we were really struggling. We were struggling to get into the high 30s. So far now, we are at 42%. So it's very important to identify these sleepers to start, especially in your playoff weeks. And we got some players that we're going to talk about here that we are telling you guys to put in this week that will become or possibly get you a championship win. So I'm going to start with Jeremy on this one. Who are you going to play this week, or who are you going to put in, Coach?
Yeah, this is how we roll at the FFU, the Fantasy Football Universe, if I can point in the right direction. We have hashtags for our guys, and my hashtag is no Tajay fears, because I have no fear about putting Tajay Spears into the lineup this week. Look, last week I was all in on Tony Pollard. I've been all in on Tony Pollard for months because the playoff schedule looks so juicy. The problem is he's not 100% healthy. It still appears that he's not going to be 100% healthy going into this week. This team has nothing to play for, so why not play for the future and play Tajay Spears yet again? He's getting the goal line work. He's scoring the touchdowns, 3 over the last 2 weeks. He was the RB3 and RB10 over the last 2 weeks in half PPR. And Tony Pollard is just not playing enough, so I can't trust him. I am trusting Tajay. If Tony Pollard is very healthy this week and plays a fair complement of snaps, we still know that Mason Rudolph is going to check down a ton. Tajay Spears will at least be involved in the passing game. He's at least a flex. Right now, he's my RB18, and I'm confident in playing him as an RB2.
I wanted to ask you about Mason Rudolph because, yes, he checks down a ton, but he also throws the ball deep because Calvin Ridley's had a resurgence since he was named starter.
Yeah, and Mason Rudolph also sucks. I mean, he doesn't suck as bad as Will Levis, but he's certainly not a high-end quarterback in this league, right? So we have a little bit of concerns about that, but Mason, yes, he can throw the ball deep, but outside of Calvin Ridley, there's really no other deep threat. Nick Westbrook-Akine with Mason Rudolph is off and on, so it's not necessarily the best situation for anyone other than Calvin Ridley, although Chig is getting a ton of work. So Tajay Spears for me, I think that's just a safety blanket. It's great for Mason Rudolph. And then, of course, the matchup at Jacksonville. That Jacksonville defense is better than it should be, but it's not good.
That if you missed that, Jeremy just gave you a nugget. Chig is getting a ton of work. Don't miss that. Targets. Up until our show this afternoon, I would have started TJ over Chig. I would have started a lot of tight ends over Chig. Chig has 21 targets in the last 2 games with Rudolph. 21 targets, 140 yards receiving. Yeah, I like Chig.
Yeah, we got Chig over or TJ Hawkinson, and we both went Chig. It's just, we are really high on him this week.
Yep.
All right, Joe, for you, who are you going to put in, Coach?
This week I like Josh Downs going against the New York Giants. So last week was a big Jonathan Taylor week. He definitely is going to still be heavily involved here, but I think that with Anthony Richardson, even if he doesn't play, it's even better if he doesn't play. Joe Flacco gets in there. But either way, I like Josh Downs. He's had 12 targets the last 2 games despite brutal matchups. He still had 6 receptions, 93 yards, and a touchdown in that span, 5 red zone targets. So he missed a couple of games, but the 3 games between weeks 10 and week 12, he had 5 red zone targets in three games. So that's why I like him. They're going to score points against the Giants. The Giants have no chance of winning this game, in my opinion. They want the number 1 pick. Josh Downs is going to finish the season strong. I can see it. It's just looking that way. I don't rule out a 2-touchdown game, actually. I got him down for 4 receptions, 76 yards, and 2 touchdowns. So I really like him this week.
Joe, my concern is that last week, because they couldn't stop
Richardson.
Taylor,
Taylor, that's what I meant.
18 yards and 3 touchdowns, and they got ahead. Anthony Richardson only threw 11 passes. Is there any chance they get a big lead on the Giants and they just don't throw the ball?
I think the big lead is going to come from throwing the ball this week.
Oh, okay.
Is what I'm saying, and then Jonathan Taylor will finish it off.
Yeah, it's we've seen what Josh Downs can do. We've seen it, and he is a very, very talented receiver. It's just, I mean, and chances are you're going to have to play him if you have him on your team, unless you're like in a 2 wide receiver league, but 3 wide receiver league and a flex for sure. You could put him in there. I'm just so nervous about Anthony Richardson, what his production has been and what it could be. That's just the only thing that scares me. I think Jonathan Taylor is still a thing. We saw it last week. I think he's a little pissed off from what him dropping the ball before he got into the end zone, and then people getting on to him. But that's the only concern. I think, Josh Downs is still a good piece. But Greg, I'm going to go with mine. Mine, we don't get to talk about rookies a lot. I know that, every year there's always a rookie that has a performance. I go back to 2021 because that's when Amon-Ra St. Brown had a rookie performance of the ages. He won people leagues. I remember because I had him on my team on one. Well, it's crazy. In one league, I played him and he won me the championship. The other league, I didn't play him and I lost. So if I'm only thinking if I would have played him in both leagues, I would have won the championship in both of those leagues. And Jalen McMillan, we've got to talk about what he's doing these last 3 games. Yes. He's got 4 touchdowns in the last 3 games, guys. Yeah, he's not getting a ton of yards. He's not getting a bunch of catches, but he's being effective and he's catching the ball. He's earning the trust of Baker Mayfield. That's something that he talked about this offseason. That's something that he wanted to not only get the trust from his coaches, but get the trust from the guy who's throwing him the ball. And right now, yeah, it may be due because of injuries. I had Sterling Shepard touted as the guy that was going to be the one to trust when Chris Godwin got hurt. And then Mike Evans got hurt, but Jalen McMillan got hurt at the same time. And it kind of took off a little of that, chemistry building process. But now I got to say, they're back on the same page. Their chemistry is being built. This team is still scoring 28 points a game in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So they're one of the higher scoring teams out there. And they're going against the Carolina Panthers, who give up 29 points a game. They're not giving up as much as they were at the beginning of the season. Hell, I thought that the 1981 Baltimore Colts record was in jeopardy at the beginning of the season, the way they were giving up points. But now it looks like they've gotten settled in, but they're still giving up 29 points. Yes, Dave Canales is there, but Dave Canales isn't going to be on the defensive side stopping them. and they're still having some struggles stopping the pass. They've gotten better as of late. I will say that, but I still think that this Buccaneers team, who needs to win this game, they're gonna just throw everything at them, and it's gonna be a tough time for the Carolina defenders. So I'm going Jalen McMillan as my put me in coach player this week. I'm riding the wave. Greg, what about for you?
Okay, so I wrote this on Tuesday. By the time we talk about this, we will know if I was right to take a chance on the Texans signal caller quarterback C.J. Stroud. We were not. I was not right to take a chance on him. Okay, my thinking was last two picks crashed and burned in spectacular fashion. 2 weeks ago, I went with Nico Collins, who scored 2 touchdowns and still finished outside the top 24 by 1 yard. 1/10 of a point, he finished at wide receiver 25. And then last week, I went with Rico Dowdle, and he was just totally disappointing. Well, 3 weeks in a row, go for the gold, baby. Houston claimed Deontay Johnson. I didn't expect him to play, but it shows they're trying to do things to get receivers to replace Dell, who was injured, to replace Stephon Diggs. They're trying to score still. But what I saw in that game, I'm not going to my pre-written thing because I don't have to justify it because he sucked yesterday. Somebody asked on Twitter, is it Stroud or is it something else? Yes and no. That offensive line has had injuries, and they are pathetic. They are very bad. And you can just look at Joe Mixon's last 3 weeks to see that even he is struggling behind that line. So they've had 2 or 3 major injuries to starters, and that hurts them. And then you got to look at C.J. Stroud. What I saw from Stroud was that his fundamentals are off. He not only, when he's pressured, is leaving his fundamentals, but even when he has time, he's not striding right. He's not throwing the ball on time, and his accuracy has suffered. So I believe Stroud is partly to blame, but I also think that offensive line, he's lost all confidence in it. So even when he has time, he's still got happy feet. And so I would avoid Stroud. Nico Collins is a great receiver, but if you're not throwing him the ball, he's not going to perform for you. Right now, I would not start any Texan right now. I just don't see any of them living up to expectations. Now, that said, I like Stroud in the future, but he's got to get a quarterback coach that can talk to him and get him back on track.
And
because
please,
he is.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. I was just going to say he's far off track.
Yeah, and I was going to say, please don't get it twisted, everybody. That team got shut out yesterday. That was a shutout. That was bad.
Their defense, George.
Well,
Their
yeah,
defense,
I'm talking
safety,
about.
They got a safety.
No, that team got stomped yesterday, man, and it was so bad.
In fairness, they could have had 2 field goals. They went for it on 4th down because they were behind, and they were still in the game, and they missed on 4th down twice.
You know what,
field
Greg?
goal range.
And if I was the coach of that team, and I knew I'm getting I'm getting stomped, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get the points that I can get, just so that way I can say we got some points, because they're going to need that type of.
I don't know. I'm playing to win, Tipp. You play to win the game, and 3 points when you're down by 12 doesn't do you any good. You need to have the touchdown.
Okay.
And it was like 4th and 1 or 4th and 2, and they just got stuffed twice.
Yeah, it was bad.
It was very bad. Anyway, and I see that JC is left before we go to our next segment. But our next segment is our mailbag segment, and JC's back to
there he is.
Bring us into that. Tipp.
All right. So every week, guys, we have a section here for the mailbag. And we have questions that we always ask. So always ask the questions at the Sports Affiliation. And we always want to help you guys out like we just did with our Q&A show. And my screen just went out and I cannot find the question. So, Greg.
I've got the question for you,
Thank
Tipp.
you.
I got you covered.
I don't know
This
what's going
one-
on with my screen.
This one is for Joe Carlton. Sam needs to start 2 out of these 3. And I got to tell you, I love this question. Jaden Reed, who I've sworn off, Adam Thielen, or Khalil Shakir. Which 2 are you starting, Joe?
Man, so this is the first I'm hearing of the question, so I got to think about it for a second. But I'm thinking I'm already leaning to sit Jaden Reed.
Well, before you make that decision, let me tell you the research I did.
Okay.
Reed is playing at Minnesota. Minnesota is actually the worst team in terms of points allowed to wide receivers. They're number 32.
Okay.
And Reed's last 2 games, 10 targets, 8 receptions, 112 yards, no touchdowns. Okay. Thielen is at Tampa Bay. They're still not a good matchup. They're still a good matchup. Number 20, 13 targets, 10 receptions, 94 yards, 1 touchdown. And then Khalil Shakir, who automatically I would have said number 1, he's playing against the Jets. They're number 6 in terms of points allowed. They don't give up a lot of points to wide receivers. He's had 13 targets, 8 catches, 61 yards, and 1 touchdown. So maybe that'll inform your decision.
Well, I still like. They're going against Josh Allen, a guy going for the MVP here.
Yeah, unless he sits.
I don't think he's going to sit. No way.
Well,
so it's going to
Can
be
he improve
for me.
the playoff position?
So I was out on Shakir last week, and this week for some reason I'm feeling Shakir, so I'm not going to rule him out. It's between Jaden Reed and what's the other guy? Thielen.
Yeah.
Reed might have a higher upside here because this is a big game for Green Bay as well. Jordan Love's probably going to keep this game competitive. I actually might even like Green Bay in this game.
Hang on a second. Tipp, is Reed out this week? One of the Green Bay receivers is out. One of the Green Bay receivers is out.
Let me check it out. I'll check out Green Bay.
Yeah, we were asked this question earlier. I do believe, do you know, Jeremy, is one of the Green Bay receivers out?
I think they were talking Watson, but I think
he officially out?
Christian Watson.
They're thinking Watson might play. It's still up in the air.
Oh, okay.
That's why I didn't bring that up.
Okay, well, that's good.
I like Reed and Dobbs for sure in this game. Minnesota brings pressure, but I think that they're 32nd. I think a lot of that has to do with them being in the lead most of the game. I mean, what are they, 13-2, 14-2, 13-2? They're ahead in most games, so teams are passing against them more often than not. So the numbers are inflated a little bit, but
yes.
But I will say that this is a game that Green Bay needs to win as well. If Watson misses, it's definitely Jaden Reed. You definitely have to roll with Reed for upside there because he's had 2 30-point games. There's not many wide receiver 3, wide receiver 4s that can drop 30 burgers. He's one of them. So
it's already it's 10 minutes to 7:00, and Christian Watson. There's no injury, there's no report for today, so this may have been their Christmas is today. So because they did practice yesterday, he did not practice. So tomorrow is going to be crucial for Christian Watson to see if this day off or maybe the report just hasn't come in yet. But I'm assuming at almost 7:00 that they would have had something by now. I think that Friday is a big day for Christian Watson, and I agree. If Christian Watson's not playing, then it's always tricky with these receivers. Hell, it could be Bo Melton if all we know, but it's just really tricky with those receivers. But I think you get a little bit more light shed tomorrow. For the number 2 question, we're gonna go to you, Jeremy. I can't see you guys, but I'm hoping you can see me pretty well. Okay, good. So Zeb wants to know, we have Trey McBride or George Kittle this week.
I love Trey McBride. I cannot quit Trey McBride no matter how hard I try. Even if he doesn't catch touchdowns, I don't care this week. George Kittle's my tight end 1. You have to roll with George Kittle. He's an absolute monster out there. He's playing Detroit. Detroit is just, they have nothing at linebacker. They're literally pulling guys off of the street. They're struggling outside of Brian Branch to cover guys, and he can't be everywhere at once. Juwan Jennings is still getting the targets. Debo came alive last week, and you know that Detroit is going to put up points. So for me, I like the Trey McBride matchup. He's my tight end 3, but I just think George Kittle goes absolutely nuclear in this game once again. He's been doing it in half the games all season. He's my tight end 1 on the week.
And yet, Detroit is number 1 against tight ends in terms of points allowed.
Yeah.
I think Detroit's only given up 1 touchdown all year to tight end.
And that's fair. I would just say that George Kittle is not your average tight end.
No, I agree.
So for me, and I'm gonna give you guys the question, and then I'm gonna tell you a little story as well. So Audrey needs one of these 3 quarterbacks: Brock Purdy, C.J. Stroud, or Geno Smith. Now, Audrey asked this question on Monday night, so I know for a fact that they asked this question before, and I said, hey, it's a valid question. I liked it, so I answered it, and we came to a discussion. And we decided to sit C.J. Stroud this week because we just didn't know what was going to happen with the whole, Tank Dell situation, Nico Collins, and, the whole offense as a whole. Baltimore's defense has been playing a lot better as of late. So we both agreed we weren't going to play C.J. Stroud. So I'm hoping Audrey didn't do that. I have not talked to Audrey since. But I went ahead and told them to go with Purdy this week. I know that they're going against the Detroit Lions. Detroit Lions out for blood. We talked a little about that in the last show, how I think that the Detroit Lions are just going to really come in here and do some damage to the 49ers and just beat up on them a little bit. But Geno Smith going against the Chicago Bears. Chicago Bears are a good defense. I'm a little concerned about Geno Smith. I'm concerned about the offense as a whole. I'm concerned a little bit about the injury. I think he should be a little bit better this week. But I just think that Purdy's been playing really well. You got Deebo Samuel in there, a motivated Deebo Samuel. That helps out as well. So I think that you go with Purdy this week and just, hope for the best with him. But I think that that's going to be the best player to get you points this week out of those 3. All right, Greg, you rock. Well, not Greg. You do rock, Greg, but this is from You Rock. And he says, or she asks, I need 3 of the 4: Cortland Sutton, T. Higgins, Tyreek Hill, or Joe Mixon, which was another one that we had yesterday. So let's just take Joe Mixon out of the sequence, and we'll just give you Joe.
I'm not taking Mixon out because I answered it before the game.
Cool.
All right. So Higgins has on paper the toughest matchup, but he also has the hottest trending stats. More on him later. Mixon has the second toughest matchup and has been quite bad in recent weeks. So while I usually favor running backs over good wide receivers, more on Mixon later. In Denver, both Pat Surtain and Riley Moss are nursing injuries. Surtain an ankle and Moss a knee, but they both practiced on Tuesday. So if either or both players is less than 100%, I think Higgins has to be in your lineup. So there, Hill's 2-game trend has been bad, no doubt. But his matchup demands he be in your lineup. So right now, Higgins and Hill should be in your lineup. So that leaves me to decide between Sutton and Mixon for the last spot. Truth be told, I like both these guys, and I almost always favor running backs over wide receivers, but I've gone back and forth on this a dozen times before the game, all right? And what it came down to me was Mixon is at home and safe. So earlier, I would have said Mixon because weather can't be a factor. But because we know what Mixon did, I'm going to change it and say go with Sutton.
Yeah, I think that is the high. I think it's, we talked a little bit about it earlier. I think it's going to be a really, really high scoring game there. The Denver versus the Cincinnati Bengals. But look, I will say this, the weather is going to be a part in that. So that's something I am looking at. But I think that both of these teams need to win, especially Cincinnati Bengals. I think they really, really need to win. So they need to win out, in other words, and they need a lot of other things to happen, but they can only focus on what they can do on the field. So I think that they're going to put some pressure on Denver, and then Denver will try to put pressure back on them in what should be a high-scoring game. All right, so we're going to answer this one collectively for the next 4-ish minutes. Cece asks, which defense are you starting this week? You have the Colts or you have the Chargers. And so the Colts are playing the Giants, and then the Chargers are playing the New England Patriots. So since the New England Patriots are your home team, Joe, we'll let you start off with it. Which defense would you play this week?
I would go with the Colts.
Okay.
The New York Giants quarterback, no matter who it is very bad. Turnovers are going to happen. Jonathan Taylor is going to run some of the clock out in the second half, I think, after the Colts beat up on him in the first half. I think that's how this game goes. The Giants are that bad that I think that's how this game goes. And you just have to roll with that. Drake May has been a garbage points hero this year, and even if this game is competitive, he'll put up a decent stat line. If the Chargers happen to beat up on us for some reason early on, he's going to get the garbage points. He's got rushing upside. He might have a turnover or two, but I just think that the higher defensive upside play is definitely in week 17.
Yeah, I mean, we could open it up. Greg, what do you think?
Okay, well, I'm going the other way. Okay. Defenses are tough because too many scoring systems are based primarily on turnovers, which can't be predicted. All right. Both are somewhat favorable matchups, but since it was asked, here's my take. Drake May is better than whomever New York will roll out. He is. But LA is a better defense than the Colts. All right. I think in this case, I roll with the better team. And so I start the Chargers.
Yeah. Now, I think it's pretty easy to. I think that for me, I'm going to go with the Colts. They're going against the Giants. The Giants give up 1.5 takeaways per game. The Colts have been very opportunistic as of late. I mean, even last week at the end of the game, right before the game was over, Kenny Moore got an interception. It's just, I mean, it's some of those times where it's one of those plays where they know they're going to get the ball or get the interception. Sometimes the players will bat it away. It's almost equivalent to like the basketball player when it's rolling down the clock and he throws the ball up in the air. Like it is one of those plays where Kenny Moore got the interception, got some more points for you if you played him on their defense. And again, this defense has been opportunistic as of late. So I'm going to go with the team going against the Giants because you're right. There's no quarterback that they are going to play against that's going to be better than Drake May in this situation. I don't care if it's DeVito. I don't care if it's Boyle. I don't care if it's Drew Lock. Whoever it is, it's going to be a favorable matchup for the Colts. And the Colts always put themselves in good positions to get turnovers. Now, here's the thing. You got to worry about being a slow, methodical game with them running the ball. But I think at the end of it, I think they'll get up big enough to where they can start teeing off and getting some of those sacks and some of those pressures. So I'm going with the Colts on this one. What about you, Jeremy?
Yeah, I'm going to make it 3-1 here in favor of the Colts. Drew Lock has started 3 games for the Giants. In those 3 games, he has thrown at least 1 interception. I think you can bank on that turnover. Drake May, however, has not thrown an interception or has thrown an interception rather in 8 straight games. So I think you can count on turnovers in both of these games. But certainly to Joe's point earlier, the Patriots are going to be able to score a little bit more. I think they have the ability to control the clock a little bit more themselves. And with Ramondre, who, if he gets volume, they can move the ball downfield. I have these defenses very close to my rankings 3 and 4, but I do lean Indy.
All right. I mean, hey, that does the show for this week, Greg. Greg, who do we have next week on?
Okay, so next week we've got Joe Pepe coming in and Dave Heilman, Dynasty Dorks. But I want to know, Glenn, Jeremy, where can people find your work?
Yeah, so we are the Fantasy Football Universe at thefantasyfootballuniverse.com. We're on Twitter, we're on TikTok, we're on all of the social media platforms, just posting daily content. We're live 4 times a week, so come check us out. Really appreciate you having us on. And I do want to shout out my co-host, Jesse Moeller at jmoeller05 on Twitter, who is still in the Scott Fishbowl and had a good night the last 2 nights. So he's hoping to take it home. We'll see. But yeah, he's still alive and crushing it there. And yeah, come join us, fantasyfootballuniverse.com.
And Joe, you're with the Sports Affiliation.
Correct. I'm going to be taking Tipp's spot temporarily, and then when you go to the Philippines, I'll be taking over Thursday Checkdown, and my co-host will be Rick Brusuelas, and I'm really looking forward to that. I appreciate that opportunity, and I'm looking forward to a successful 2025.
Now, I've got JC. Are you going to do a watch party? Wave yes or no.
I'm here.
You going to do a watch party tonight?
Oh, yeah. I'm going to be hanging out. If anybody here wants to hang out, you're more than welcome to.
All right, so JC's going to run our outro, but stick around because the watch party's coming up next.
Let's go. What?
Hey, I want to thank everybody for joining us. Joe, lifesaver.
All right, Rick's there.
Jeremy, I know you're busy this time of year. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
Listen, appreciate it, guys, a lot. It is 2 a.m. here in Amsterdam, guys, so I'm going to bed.
Oh, you're from Amsterdam.
I'm from New York originally, lived in Amsterdam last 3 years, so yeah, I'm exhausted. I'm going to wake up early in the morning and watch the 40-minute version of this game, but I need to go to sleep, guys.
Hey,
good night, Jeremy.
It's a pleasure.
Have a really, really good coffee for me.
Hey, I lived in Belgium for 18 months
Excellent.
and in the Netherlands for 18 months. Amsterdam, I've visited, but I've never lived there.
Hey, it's a good time. It's a good time. Can't complain.
Sure it is.
It's a party town. That's what it is.
That's it. All right, guys. Appreciate it. You take care.
You bet, Jeremy. Hey, Joe, I could almost understand you this time.
Jeez.
Gentlemen, I have to dash. Love you all.
Me too,
Have a
guys.
good night.
Peace. We'll see you guys.
Bye, Tipp.
All right, Rick. Bye, Rick. Bye, Joe. Bye, JC.
See you later, Tipp. Good night.
All right.
Hey, y'all see Marsh our they had our Richard Sherman out there eating them Skittles for Marshawn, just popping them.
Nice.
I want to say he stole that from me. I used to do that every time I hit a home run in Little League.
Skittles?
Yep. Chug a bag of Skittles. I swear to God, I got people that can sign off on that. This was going back to 1996, 1995, 1996.
I love that. Yeah, I mean, Seattle, man. I want to see Seattle win this game, man. I would definitely like to see that. I mean, Chicago.
I like Chicago, so I have to root for Chicago here. I like the Bears. They're kind of my NFC Central. Do they still call it NFC Central team?
No, Seattle's got a tough defense. That's going to be tough on the Bears.
Oh, did you hear who wants
tough for Caleb Williams? Yes.
Do you hear who? Yeah. Do you hear who wants to coach coach the Bears? And it's very close to this team.
Pete Carroll.
Pete Carroll said,
yeah.
I don't think Pete Carroll. I think his. So here, the same thing with Shanahan, dude. I think he's kind of done. I think people have kind of figured him out, man. I think people have figured him out. I don't know. I think that can happen too. I think it can happen. Last 3 years, I mean, Pete Carroll's great defensive coach, knows how to run the ball, usually can bring in good coaches or good people around him to teach, and he's a very competitive person. But man, he fell off hard. The last 3 years it was pretty bad. It was, I mean, defense wasn't as strong as it was. And he was a very heavy defensive coach. I mean, think about the Vikings 6 years ago when it was run the ball, play defense. before Jefferson was here. It was all that was. Same thing was in Seattle. It was all about run the ball. I mean, what they went from like, who do they have? Marshawn, who came right after Marshawn, but then it was like Chris Carson, who was like
there was a Sean Alexander, right? Alex.
So I mean, it was like literally you just have strong, hard, heavy running backs, same as they have now, right? They have 2 running backs that can either catch or run the ball pretty hard. It's just like that's like their style of run. And
and you have a play with a lead quarterback and control the clock. Yeah, that's Pete Carroll's thing. But
are you going to do that? Are you going to be able to do that with Caleb? I mean, I don't think Swift is strong enough to be that kind of running back.
No.
I don't think their defense is strong enough to have somebody like that as that kind of head style coach. I think they need somebody who's going to teach Caleb how to throw the ball.
Yeah, their defense will get better though next year with Brisker coming back, because they've been without Brisker for most of the season. It seems like
it's going to be tough. I mean, I still think that. I mean, what do you do in this situation as a Bears? Like, who you go out there and look for as a real coach? Like, you need somebody that can teach your quarterback.
You need an offensive-minded guy, yeah, I suppose.
So I know there's an offense. I think he's either the quarterback coach or the offensive coordinator for Minnesota.
Who?
God,
I thought I heard.
Let me get him.
Offensive coordinator from,
because the Texans were actually looking at him. There was rumors that he was going to become the Texans coach. And
D'Amico Ryans, I'm sorry, but he needs to go. He is not a good coach. That team looks. Not only is the offensive line trash. I'm sorry, but C.J. Stroud last year, great.
Josh McCown.
Yeah, he's our quarterback coach here.
Yeah, that's why.
Josh McCown. What's with backup quarterbacks like coaching? I
don't know. Kevin O'Connell was the backup quarterback for your team.
He's good though.
I mean, McCown at least has been around the league. He's learned how to be a quarterback. He learned different systems. So when
I suppose he was one of the better backup quarterbacks, right?
Well, I think that these two together are they're like quarterback whisperers. Like, it's nice to see Sam Darnold kind of come alive. Like, I'm a Vikings fan, and I'm not a Sam Darnold truther. I do not think he's a product of the system. Then the system is great. You have, I mean, Jordan Addison has been elite this year. Like, he's been so good. And then Justin Jefferson, we already know he's elite. He's the number 2 receiver in the NFL this year because Chase has just been so damn good. But like Addison, holy shit, he's been crazy good.
He's really
good tight end too.
I mean, Hawkinson really hasn't done much, but he's been a lot of blocking, and I think that's what you kind of need in a good tight end too. I mean, Aaron Jones has been serviceable. He's fumbled the ball a lot, which kind of sucks. But I'm gonna tell you right now,
they're saving him.
He's been lucky.
They're saving Aaron Jones for the playoffs. They wanted to make sure he was healthy because he has always missed games in the past. And the fact that they're going to possibly enter the playoffs with him healthy is pretty scary because he is a playoff gamer. And when you give him the volume, he produces. So I'm looking forward to Minnesota in the playoffs as well.
Yeah, I mean, it should be interesting. As long as the defense can stay healthy, that's what I'm only thing I really worry about. That and the offensive line, because it's another. I mean, that's a different like I was just talking about, with the Texans, man. C.J. Stroud was on his back all night last night. It was crazy.
Yeah, made me think of the David Carr years.
Oh, you're right, 100%. Yeah, it was crazy.
Good quarterback, it's hard to throw when you're laying on your back.
And and I think he's still devastated from losing Tank Dell because that was like his best friend.
Which, I had Nico Collins in my lineup in 2 teams, 2 championship games this week.
So I'm not gonna lie, I had this Houston-Baltimore matchup factored into how I drafted. The team that I had that made the shootout, I rostered Zay Flowers and Tank Dell and Lamar And I actually had Kami Fairbairn, which was terrible performance this week. and is so disappointed. Anybody that believed in Mixon all year, and then he just
I'm gonna tell you right now, dude. Right before, so I knew I was getting into the playoffs, and I was like, all right, I had McCaffrey on my team, and I had Jordan Mason on my team. I was like, I have to have a running back to get me through the playoffs. Okay, I'm a team where my team's okay. I just traded for Bo Nix. I made a sick ass trade for Nix. It was Najee in a second for Bo Nix in a super flex league. That was a sick ass deal, and that was like 2 weeks into him like starting to progress. And then I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna get into the playoffs. I'm gonna make this trade. Okay, I have McCaffrey and I have Jordan Mason. I'm going to send a second with that. Those 4 Mixon straight up because of how good he's done. I'm like, I feel like this is a good trade. He's still young enough to continue. He's only been on this team for 2 years now. Like he'll be okay for a couple of years. I don't know what McCaffrey's going to do next year. You have no clue. He could legit be Todd Gurley now with all the knee injuries and the tendonitis. And Jordan Mason, I mean, who knows? A second, okay, basically for me at this point, it's like trading a second round of Jordan Mason for Mixon. And I thought that was a pretty good deal. And he fucking shit his ass all over me. No joke, dude. That's crazy how bad Mixon. He literally went like this after that trade. And you're like, well, I'd have been pissed. I mean, being in the championship this week and having Mixon, you would be so angry. Like,
2 weeks in a row. 2 weeks in a row, actually. 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, Jacobs, man. Jacobs was the guy. I tried to go get that, but
I had him as my stud to sit because playing Minnesota.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Josh Jacobs.
Yeah, he's had a great season though.
Yes, I underestimated.
How did he go against Minnesota and Green Bay? They played 4 weeks ago, I think, 3 weeks ago.
What'd they do?
Well, Vikings won in Green Bay. It wasn't easy. I mean, all the games aren't easy. So
I was going to say, when there's an easy game, except because Baltimore crushed the Texans last year too, I think.
Let's see here real quick.
They've taken over from the Patriots as the team that always beats us.
All right, so Jacobs against the Vikings. Where's Minnesota? 11 points. You're right. And that was in Green Bay at the beginning of the year.
And I don't know if he was hurt or if it was just
he only played 61% of the snaps. 9 carries. 51 yards.
So Minnesota only has given up
6 targets though. So I mean that's the thing too. Like you gotta think about that with Minnesota. I mean, they do allow a lot of targets to anybody.
Yeah, I was gonna say he kind of got game scripted out of the run game. I see like the first half score. Maybe Minnesota had an early lead there, or consistently were playing from the lead.
So last week was his second lowest touches, Josh Jacobs. And Minnesota was his worst with 9. 13 was last week for touches. Dude, Jacobs hasn't had. So I'm looking. What league is this? The league I'm playing. It's pretty standard. PPR league. He hasn't scored under 20 points since the bye week. It's week 11. It's pretty good.
So since my 3 championship games aren't looking very promising right now, I have to give all my attention to the Fantasy Cares One and Done Charity League. And I'll tell you who I've got.
Well, I played against Lamar in my only money league left. I played against Lamar, but I had Mahomes. So he's literally up by 1.3.
And I didn't choose Mahomes. I chose Jordan Love to start this week. Might have been a mistake.
I think so.
So I've got Jonathan Taylor, Terry McLaurin, Cheek, and Will Reichard.
Y'all got the game on? What the hell kind of pooch ass kick was that? He was just like,
oh, I don't have the game on yet.
I don't have the game on either because so the last two shows I did, I kicked the family out of the house and I used the upstairs room. Tonight I'm downstairs and everybody's upstairs, and I don't have a TV down here yet, so I'm not seeing the game right now. So you guys have to keep me informed.
I'll keep you in the loop. I'm pulling this up now. Pulling this up now, so at least for anybody up there that doesn't have it, let me get the game on here. It's not the game, but at least you'll have kind of play-by-play stuff here.
Oh, all right, yeah, that works.
Is that overcast or? Oh no, it's cleared up now.
All right, so just let me make sure it's updating. I might be a little bit ahead. But yeah, the kickoff, dude, it was just like flat and like a wounded duck kind of throw, but it was a kick, it's like straight towards the pylon. Almost went out. Mike McDonald, what are your thoughts on him as a head coach?
I like some new blood into the league because getting to see the same retreads over and over again.
Damn. Charbs. Nice. That was almost a 10-yard run there. You got what, 7?
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't have him in any of my important teams.
I'm gonna tell you right now, I was not high. When he came in his first year, he did not look fun to watch. He was not fun to watch. Kenneth Walker is probably one of my favorite coming out of college. I have a lot of his cards. I'm a high collector of Kenneth Walker. There's just something about running backs that play in Seattle. Like Kenneth Walker is legit Chris Carson. Like he's hurt a lot, but when he's in, he plays like a mother friggin' beast.
He was my favorite running back outside of Bijan in that class. What was that the same class? Or was it?
He came out in the same class as Hassan Haskins too, I think.
Yeah. I thought Kenneth Walker was definitely the most like running back ready.
22, I think.
And that if he got the right landing spot, which he did, he would be really good. He was going last year. Last year he was like an 8th round pick in redraft leagues too.
Because him and Haskins, both of them in college were fucking phenomenal. Haskins had like a 4-touchdown week, and when he played for Michigan.
Nice.
Kenneth Walker played for Michigan State. Damn, huge run from Charbonnet here.
I'm going against Charbonnet in my championship for my league title game. So.
Damn, Charbonnet is playing terrible.
He's a horrible guy too. Yeah.
No, he's.
I understand he's ugly.
I figured he'd get about 16 or 17 points tonight. I could see it. I'm hoping he don't get more than that. But
Bears are sloppy against the run, man.
They are. That's how you beat them. That's how you get them.
And the weather is going to be kind of how it would be in Seattle right now. So I think this team's going to play great.
So so Joe, since you don't play too much Dynasty, since even in this league where I'm in the championship game, but I'm like 50 points behind already, I'm making ads for like George Halani would be a player I'd be looking at.
George who? Isaiah, I don't even know who that is.
He plays for Seattle. They just signed him for the rest of the season.
Wow,
he's been on the practice squad.
Okay.
But I mean,
when
you get in deep leagues, you're looking at guys like Kalani and Tyler Batty for Denver.
So I'm in 2 dynasty leagues. I took over an orphan, an FFPC 250, and
nice.
it hasn't. I've gotten the team better, but it's still there was some monstrous. The top 2-3 teams were like so good that it's like I think I might just give up on this one and maybe do a startup. The other one. So I was just trying to learn a little bit about it, like is without like trying it. That was my first one. Then I did, and Ryan Kennedy invited me to a $20 at one of his dynasty leagues.
Huge run. Who's this? McKinstry?
And
McIntosh, right?
Yeah.
It's like they always find just these random like running backs to come in and just.
And they bust open some pretty big holes. I mean, I could have gone through that one.
Fuck yeah.
I got the game. I got the game on a tablet now. The wife is the best. Who just brought me down the tablet with the game.
Yeah, wife kicking butt. Let's go.
All right, now I can do play-by-play with you guys. All right,
there you go.
Ew, remember
hey, where's Iggy?
I think his wife is. I think he said something about her back being. I don't know. When he texted me, it was kind of. I think it was talk to text. But anyway,
the reason I asked is that the next thing we have to get you into is IDP leagues.
Dude, IDP is crazy.
It is. When does the first? Like, I'm just curious. When does the first defensive player go off the board in IDP?
Late second, sometimes mid second. If a really impact defensive player like.
Here's the real answer. It depends on who you're playing with.
Okay. Yeah, this is true. But in general,
third round. But last year when we played, so Iggy, we have depends. Also depends on the size of your league, I guess too. Iggy, he puts on his charity league FF7s, and it's an IDP league, but it's the seven conferences, 16 team leagues, 4 divisions within that league, right? So, you play each person in your division twice, just like in football, which is kind of fun. But it's crazy, 16 team leagues is crazy. It makes it crazy, but the bench is 5-player bench, which makes it so hard. One IR spot, dude. So I was at the and it's also super flex, by the way.
So super flex offense lineup. How many ID players altogether?
Let me look.
IDP.
I think it's DB. Let me see real quick.
I'm just trying to get an idea here to see if I would even be interested in trying to tackle this.
It's my favorite league to draft. It's
fun. It's just it makes it so interesting to learn about linebackers,
super flex, safeties. Start 2 running backs, start 2 wide receivers, a flex, and then a super flex, and then it's three IDP flex spots. So any type of IDP.
Any okay.
Then 1 defensive lineman, 1 linebacker, 1 defensive back, a kicker, and a defense. And defenses can score as much as quarterbacks.
Like a team defense?
Yeah, dude.
As well as IDP?
Yeah, the setup is it's crazy that yeah. I've had what year was it? So 3 years ago, I think it's Lamar. It was the year that Lamar and Edwards were just going bananas. I think it was 3 years ago, right? When they were just going off the hook, and then Lamar got hurt and Edwards got hurt, like in week 10 or I think it was like 10 or 12. No, it had to have been later than that. It was like right before we got into the playoffs. Dude,
that was 2 years ago, yeah.
And I think the Patriot, it was either the Patriot, no, it was Dallas defense, I think. Dallas defense was like unstoppable. Dallas defense was scoring like 50 points a week for me. It was insane. But I was undefeated for 10 weeks. And I started 10-0 in that league. And then Lamar went out. I got into the championship. And then Lamar got hurt, and Andrews got hurt, and it just destroyed my team. I lost right away because in that league I didn't go super fly. I didn't draft. My strategy has been different every year. This year I waited till the 9th round to draft my quarterback in a 16 league team.
This was a good year to do that, actually.
I went with Drake May.
Yeah.
Brissett later. It didn't work out great, but
No.
I thought Brissett did not start as good as I thought he might.
I feel like you want to have like an anchor all around at every little position.
I wish I would have grabbed
and then like hit on your secondary guys. Like that's how to approach.
Team started off. Team was. I mean, fuck. Max Crosby got hurt. Bobby Okereke got hurt. Austin Eckler. So I had picked 10 out of 16, and McCaffrey fell to me at 10. So I said, I'm taking McCaffrey, and he sat out all year.
Yeah, I had him. I had him missing 7 games. I underestimated.
You can't miss your first round pick in a 16-team league and not take a quarterback in a super flex league.
You can't miss. Yeah, definitely not.
I was like, I'm effed.
I can't believe you. I wouldn't have done that this year. Last year, yeah. But,
so Joe, I'll send you a couple of the rosters of the IDP teams I've got. There 53 player teams, and you have to have like at least 5 of each defensive player on your lineup, or you're in trouble because they get hurt just like the offensive players.
Right.
And so guys like Tuli Tuipulotu from the Chargers.
Dude, he was a fun adding him late because he didn't start off great, but he went real quick.
Omar Spites, a linebacker, rookie linebacker, just all of a sudden is heated up. Trying to look through. I got my other lineup. So this one's a 16-team league, so it's a lot tougher because you're like scraping. Like when I'm looking for George Halani at running back, that's the team I'm looking for. The other one, guys like Brian Burns, Carl Granderson, Kayvon Thibodeau, which was a bad. He was drafted early by the Giants, and he's like most Giants, he disappoints. But guys like Zaire Franklin from Indianapolis, Frankie Lulu, Diane Henley from the Chargers, Spillane. So, but you try to load up on linebackers because they get a lot of tackles.
So how's the point system go? Tackles are a point, obviously, right? That was
and assists are half.
Usually, in Iggy's leagues, 2
or
points.
Half a point, 2 points.
If you play IDP 1, 2, 3, I think it's 2 points per tackle, 1 point per assist. Tackles, because tackles are king. Usually sacks are like 6 points, so it's like a touchdown, I think. Pick 6 is obviously a 6 plus whatever your return yards are. That's what Iggy has. You get return yards because you're like a running.
It's not as nuts as Scott Fishbowl return yards, though, right?
No, it's
okay. Well, that you get 1 point. You get a point per yard? No, you get
5 yards is a point in Scott Fish.
5 yards is a point. Yeah. Yeah, for this one, I think it's like 1 point per 10 yards. It's just like
that's a little better. Yeah,
as soon as you intercept the ball or pick the ball up, as a fumble, you instantly
the yards are 0.1. The yards are 0.1. Okay, I like that.
But you focus more on tackles.
Tackles for sure.
And it seems like defensive ends are a valuable position. And there's a few good ones.
If you can, hits on quarterback, you get points for hits on quarterback.
I was going to say they get spike weeks, right? Those are the guys that get the spike weeks.
But it's very volatile. So, you might get, a sack or 2, and then all of a sudden you go a couple games without anything.
Do you know Van Ginkel
and
is having the same year as TJ Watt? Is that crazy?
So let me revise my first question now.
Cam Bynum last year.
Instead of asking when you take the first defensive player, in the first 8 rounds, how many defensive players are you drafting?
I'm gonna tell you this year, man. For me, it sucked because I'm a huge Max Crosby fan, and he got hurt. Like,
oh yeah, he was being beast too.
it was terrible. They were so bad that it just affected everybody except for Jacoby Myers and Brock Powell.
In this league, the first defensive player was Edgerrin Cooper,
That's
Packers
the first
linebacker.
That was the first.
Well, it's a rookie draft.
Oh, rookie draft.
This is an existing league, so.
Oh yeah.
So, and then let's see who came in after him. Dallas Turner, Minnesota.
Yeah, that was good. He's gonna be great next year.
Latu.
That game last week.
Yeah, he's finally heating up.
Great.
So yeah, it's and again, this is an established league. If it was a startup, I'd have to go back a couple of years and see
when Tua Pelotu go.
Wait a minute, Rick, you're in a dynasty IDP league.
Yes,
a dynasty IDP. Wow.
Yeah, I'll send you the roster. See, it's fun. It's fun though.
I'm sure it's fun. It sounds like a lot of commitment to me.
Let me look at this draft. Is he a rookie?
Let's see. The league that I'm playing for a championship in is IDP, and I have Micah Parsons, Jordan Brooks, and Ernest Jones. Those are my
Ernest Jones is having a monster year.
It's he's playing tonight, so we'll see what happens with him. I thought he'd have a good night because they're playing Chicago. That's why I was like, I'm starting him. They're playing Chicago.
A trade has been completed. I just saw this. A trade completed in my Dynasty League right before this game started. You guys want to hear it?
Yes.
Contender gets Zach Charbonnet and a 2025 fourth rounder. I believe it's the 408. Other guy gets Ramondre Stevenson and a 2025 second. I believe it's a late second.
Damn, that guy got ripped off.
Yeah.
Which one? Who won the trade? The Charbonnet side, right?
Charbonnet side, big time.
Yeah.
Youth, and usage.
Oh man, I'm not even gonna say who the other person is because he's been on their show before. I'm gonna keep it a secret. I can't.
Hey, I'm sorry. I mean, the way that shit, you should know the answer to that. The way your team goes through running backs.
Hey, JC, he was a 2023 draftee, and I picked him at 708.
Tui?
Yeah.
He's good, man. He's he picked up. I think when he started this year, he picked up quick, and I like to see that. What about also might have been last year?
Herbig, I got him at 713.
Who was the other Samoan kid that plays for the 49ers?
I don't know. I don't.
Hufanga. He's a defensive back, I believe. He might be a linebacker. No, I think he's a defensive back.
Let me see. I can do it on my phone.
He had a couple games where you're like, whoa, this kid, he's going to be special too.
Oh, wow. It sparked a whole controversy. I'm catching up on the league chat now.
People pissed off.
people are calling for the trade deadline, but we don't have a trade deadline in this, and I kind of like that. I kind of like it.
Yeah, I like not having a trade deadline.
Yeah, you got to take advantage of that when you can, and
but you got to also pressure owners to make better trades because that was not a good trade.
Here's my deal: you don't ever veto a trade unless it's legit collusion or it can destroy a league. That's it.
I agree. I don't think this is going to destroy the league, but this is the first time I've seen.
Oh, dude. Who was damn, what? Who was that? I'm not going to remember. I have his card somewhere. It has to be 2021. That right? That was the year Jefferson was drafted, right? 21, 20, 20?
Somewhere that.
There was another kid that was drafted, I want to say, by the Saints.
No, you went backwards.
And everyone was super hyped about him. And he was just absolutely terrible. Damn it, what was his name?
The Saints? You said the Saints, JC? Sorry, I was watching the game.
Yeah, I think so. Let me look. I think it was the same draft class as Jefferson. I also think he had a hyphenated name. I think he did.
Oh, like Emir or whatever his name.
Yeah.
Is it that guy?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh.
He's
he's like always the end of teams' rosters type wide receiver.
2021 NFL.
Yeah, I rarely will criticize a trade in like a league chat, but one time I saw a trade where the guy gave up Marvin Mims. He traded Marvin Mims and a 4th round draft pick for
2020.
Drawing a blank. Hold on. Lions. Depth. Although he's hurt.
What?
They show him. And I got into a big, long argument. And then I apologize because, again, people should make their trades and they shouldn't be, you don't know what's going through their head. But it was David Montgomery. And they were trying to tell me, oh, well, David Montgomery, he had just been, I think, moved from Chicago to the Lions. And he was going to be behind Gibbs, I guess. So, he's just going to be like a change of pace or a backup. I mean, he's old. They're giving me all the, and I'm going, God, have you ever watched the guy run? So,
well, crazy thing is too is a lot of people get hyped about players coming out of college.
Yeah, and Marvin Mims was hyped. Denver, I was all excited about him, but
Marvin Mims?
Yeah, that was it was Marvin Mims and a 4th for David Montgomery.
Was it Golden something? Was there a guy with a name Golden something?
A long time ago. Golden Flowers, a wide receiver.
Not Golden Tate. There was something gold like there. I can't remember his name. I actually bought a box of cards to try to pull. I can't remember what rookie I was going for, and I pulled this guy out, and I was like, I knew I was gonna pull stupid ass crap like this. It was that goofy ass dude. Damn it!
Nice.
Is it Darden?
Yeah. That's one of those times where you go ahead and you put that hand up and you move away and take your chances at bouncing into the end zone. I don't see what the benefit of fair catching like inside the 5.
Oh, Antonio Gandy Golden. Do you remember him?
Oh, man.
No.
Did he ever make a team?
He who did he get drafted by? So this dude had the Bears. No, right? No, hold on. Who drafted him? He played for Liberty. Yeah, see, in 2020, he was drafted in round 4 by the Washington football team at that time. And a lot of people were amped about his skills because he was going to be playing with Dwayne Haskins, right? And he drafted. I mean, the trade was like him and something for a 1st round pick. He was trading him he was trading away a 1st round pick for this guy, and people were like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
And everyone was like, "I'm like, it doesn't ruin the league. This guy's just making a stupid trade." I'm like, if he wants to do that, that's on him. Like, I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
I wouldn't veto that shit.
Yeah,
Antonio Gandy Golden. Yeah, he was like, people were super amped about this kid because he played with Liberty, and it's a shitty, it's a conference is terrible. He must have played with Malik Willis, right?
had to have, yeah.
Man, Malik Willis, I'm gonna tell you right now, he was so fun to watch in college. I would literally watch Liberty games just for him. And who the hell watched Liberty games? Nobody.
Well, physically, he had a great arm. I mean, I can remember seeing him and
nobody to throw to. Nobody to throw to. Like I said, I think Gandy Golden was the only guy, and then when he was gone, it was just like, who is he gonna throw to?
But in the pre-combine workouts and stuff like that, they would show him just setting missiles out there. He had such a strong arm,
and he could run. Oh my God. That dude could run. This is not refreshing.
God, Kenny McIntosh is getting a lot of play.
That's nice. You got to keep your other running backs healthy if you're going to make it into the playoffs. They're trying, man. They're hunting. Yeah, Mel. They're probably getting rain there.
Yeah, it was raining.
It's warm enough. We're supposed to be getting rain here in Minnesota tomorrow.
But y'all are smart enough to have a dome stadium.
I'm working outside, so I'm fucked. Oh, DK, man, he's just been. I'm one trade in a league that I ended up losing in the first round of the playoffs. I traded I traded for DK in like the week 3, I think. Oh, he was doing so good. So good. I traded away James Cook, who was not
dropped it.
JSN bobbles the ball.
And they just like.
Did you end up losing that game because I told you to stack Coca? I hope you did.
I was going to win anyways.
Oh, okay.
Other people. I mean, anybody that started would have got me 14 more points would have probably been the most, but it didn't. I lost by like 50 points, dude. His team did really well. I lost. It didn't matter because I had Hurts, who died.
Yeah, that sucks. Yeah,
that really affected my game. But I also had Saquon and Antonio or AJ Brown.
Nice. I have that stack too.
I shouldn't even be worrying about it since I'm so far behind in all 3 games. But I could go, all balls out, all ceiling plays, and I was going with Adam Thielen, but I'm now thinking maybe I should try Devonta Smith just because maybe he'll get a touchdown or long touchdown play. So. Yeah, the idea of whoever the Eagles are going to run out there at quarterback, and
I don't know, man. I think he was slinging the ball. It's crazy. He does sling the ball. And Bryce Young does not. So, I mean, do you want the number 1 on a team with a guy who doesn't throw the ball a lot, or do you want the number 2 on a team with a guy who probably is going to throw it for 40 times?
AJ Brown did not practice, I don't think, today too. Which
I could see Slim Reaper getting 70 yards and a touchdown tomorrow, or what? When do they play Sunday?
But Thielen should get the 70 yards. Whether he gets the touchdown part, I'm not sure.
That's how I feel about Devonta Smith. He could get 6 catches, 59 yards, no touchdown. But I don't know.
He does a lot in between the 20s, it seems.
Yeah.
I mean, Barkley is just so good, dude. It's crazy.
Barkley hurts. Sometimes they have a random guy catch a touchdown, and then you have AJ Brown. I mean, even though he missed practice, I don't really concern myself with missed practices until Friday come along. But you know, he did the same thing last week. He was limited all week, and then
Philadelphia is playing Saturday though. So
yeah. So that okay. So then that's probably I could see him not practicing at all and being questionable and then playing and being all right. I mean, he got through last week, so and 2 weeks ago was when he picked up the injury. I don't know.
I started Smith last week and got nothing, so that's why I was gun shy.
I don't blame you. I think I lean Thielen. I'm not gonna lie. even if Smith has upside.
Caleb just sails that right over Allen's head. Just sailed it. That was a Dunze. Yeah, Dunze's been a dud. He's been a dud, man.
I don't think that Caleb has been seeing him, to be honest with you.
It's kind of tough to judge it by.
He sailed that.
He hasn't been. They haven't.
Emotion.
Trying to tell him to go left more. I mean, what the hell? I mean, he overthrew his head.
Either way, they just haven't clicked like I was hoping, because I in that dynasty orphan I took over, I got a Dunze at 103. And I had no intentions on taking Caleb Williams at 203, but he fell. And so I took him as a single quarterback league. And then I moved Mahomes for Kamara and Pollard. And I thought I was going to contend, but there was half of the team that it just all didn't mesh together. And then it just didn't work. It was an all-in effort that didn't work. So I'm thinking about giving the team up, to be honest with you, and then just trying a startup, go for a startup and see how I do with the startup.
So Mel, I'm in the same spot. I've got Rodgers as one of my two quarterbacks, and he says he'll play, but I'm starting to think whether or not I'd be better off putting in another wide receiver. I wish I had a tight end I could put in there, but I don't.
See, that was kind of my thought process with the IDP league that Iggy runs. Like, I was like, all right, I'm just going to run one quarterback all year and then probably be screwed in my bye week. No, because I had Taysom Hill, too, at one point. So I could have just thrown him in, at my quarterback. But being able to just put in, anybody you want at that super flex spot, right? Draft heavy running backs. I think I went heavy wide receiver, and I think that's. Let me just look at that league real quick, because I think I did have heavy wide receiver, but people just kept getting hurt. And I got, that sometimes that happens. You draft a team where everyone. Let's see. Oh, I also was very high on Brooks this year, and I drafted him in a lot of leagues.
Yeah, that hurt.
Yeah, I thought he was going to be back by week 7 or 8.
And now you're hoping he'll be back by week 7 or 8 of next year.
No, I'm not even going to touch him. But let's see.
You can't trade him, though. What are you going to do? I guess you just have to stick him on the end of the bench and hope. I would trade you anything for him right now. Luckily, they re-signed Chuba for a big contract.
Yeah, I was actually high on him in a lot of leagues. I was lucky for that.
It's a good call. I was skeptical about what's the rookie running back? Why am I drawing a blank right now?
Jonathan Brooks.
I was skeptical about him entering mid-season and taking off. Like Chuba Hubbard was a great pick this year. If you target him, if you got him, good for you.
I was high on both. Like I thought that, watching Chuba at the end, like last year, kind of come out and show out at the end of the year, and Like, all right, he's going to be dependable. If I mean, they went out and drafted Brooks, and I'm like, I love this kid. He was really fun to watch in college.
He's going to be good, yeah.
I don't know, another knee injury. It's hard, man. He's going to have to come back. He's going to have to fight to come back and, get a job. I mean, they might have to go out and get another person now, somebody.
Yeah, I don't even know who their backup running back is. That shows you.
They're going to probably have to get somebody else.
Mike Davis. Mike
Davis, yeah. Yo, he wanted some people some championships. At least got him there.
And then the next round, people took him in the 5th round. I mean, the next year, people took him in the 5th, 6th round and died.
Who was, I mean, shoot, what was who was the cat who took Leonard? Was it Leonard Floyd or Leonard?
Leonard Fournette.
Yeah, who took his job? The cat. He was like an undrafted free agent.
Oh yeah, and then he got replaced last year.
He went. Yeah, he was like after he exploded. He was like a top 10 running back that year, and then the next year everyone was drafting him so high, and he was just trash.
So the backup running back in Carolina is Raheem Blackshear.
Yeah,
he's basically a kick returner.
I couldn't think of his name. I didn't feel like looking it up either.
Yeah, it's not worth the effort. I kind of said, "Oh, gee, now why did I do that?"
Mel wants to know if you got a Bronx accent.
Rick's gonna be Rick. You're the research guy for sure. Like during the show, you bring up.
Is that a Bronx accent? Mel, come on. We're gonna have subtitles in our show.
Isn't it Houston, Texas? Or wait, where are you? Are you actually from Houston, Rick?
Yeah, I'm from California, though. So I'll say an occasional y'all or fixin' or
I like y'all.
You say y'all?
I say it, yeah. So I got a friend. I got a friend that I play NFFC with. He's from Kentucky, and we talk on the phone all the time. He got me saying "bubby," which is holla. I'll holla later. I'll holler at you later.
Yeah. Pertinier is a good one, and then fixin' to go home.
Fixin'. That's another one.
Yeah, Pertinier home. There's a lot of the barbecue places out here in the men's room. They do recordings of that. Yes, sir.
Who was it? Not Chris Thompson.
Tank Dell's not going to play next year. I see the question from Sniper Mel. Well, not a question, but.
And Mel, to answer your question, he parked the car in Harvard Yard.
James Robinson, that was the cat's name.
Okay,
he was awesome too.
He was good. He went in the third. He went in the third round. That's right.
One year wonder, baby. 1 year wonder.
And this is why everyone was worried about Kyron Williams.
Yeah, and then Etienne, and now
what's next for Etienne? Is he
his brother is going to be coming up here this next year, I think.
He's entering year 4, right? One of my dynasty. I'm new to Dynasty, but one of my Dynasty takes I've learned so far in 2 years is the running back entering year 4 is like that's the year that should be their prime year. Is what I've noticed. Like all the people that were down on Josh Jacobs last year. Was it last year? Yeah, it was last year.
Well, there's a reason people were down on him. It was because he
didn't
get the 5th year option approved, which was a sign.
He didn't play. He was also injured, and he didn't play. He wasn't going to come in and start playing.
He was highly efficient when he was healthy, though.
Also, you have to remember, I want you to go to the sportsaffiliation.com and just type in 370. If you can search.
Oh, yes, I've heard this. I've heard
Curse
this.
of 370 is something that
I've read it.
Greg wrote an article about it. It's his article. It was him and Derrick Henry, and they both flopped the following year.
Yeah.
the curse of 370. So so the whole theory is anybody who has over 370 touches in a year will have a shitty year the following year.
Yeah, it's usually true. It's usually true.
It's usually true.
Did you see? Was that Komet that leaked out into the left flat and Caleb didn't even look?
They need to use him more.
He has not looked at Komet. I thought he would look at him a lot more.
Like, I thought he was a great quick outlet, like the screens.
That was McIntosh out there.
Like, they don't use him like they should.
Sometimes you just have to step up and throw the ball.
Free play. That should be also intentional grounding.
Because he was inside the tackle, so
I didn't see anybody in the area for him to throw to.
no one there. Yeah, I think he knew there was a flag, and so he just figured it was a free play.
So that's not a Texas
Oh
action.
man, not a good one.
Three to nothing. Jeez, barn burner.
It's Thursday night football.
And you got two dud teams
With decent pass defenses on both sides. Yeah.
Yeah, I do like defense. The defensive teams. Here's one thing I think I'm going to look at this year in the offseason. I'm going to go back and kind of look at Thursday night games and punts because I think we can make some punting bets next year. They do have punting bets on DraftKings.
Punt attempts or like
punt attempts, yes. Yeah. How many punts happened? So there was 1 week where they had it at like I talked to Iggy about it. I was like, man, this looks like a good one we should take. It was at like 7.5. They had like 12 that night or 13. You're like, oh, you would have smashed that play. And it was that plus money. So I'm saying it might be something to look at.
Yeah, it's leveraging bad offenses, short week.
And I think it's more of not even bad offenses with good defenses. Teams that have both teams are mediocre to bad offenses with mediocre to good defenses. That's what you got to kind of look at. Bears, it's like Bears versus. I mean, this would have been a perfect one. Rivalry games, like I even think Minnesota versus Vikings would be a good one to look at.
Minnesota versus Vikings.
Minnesota versus Vikings. Good game.
Team scrimmage.
Packers versus Vikings.
There you go.
I started. You made me think twice too when you said it again. So it's even better. Cheers. Dude.
Man, at least he's making ads about it, right?
Mayonnaise? Man. He's terrible. Will Levi's.
So who do you guys like? Who do you think is the best quarterback coming out of the class? Cam Ward or Shador?
None. None of the above.
None? You don't like any?
I don't think it matters in this year. I think that Gentry is if you're in a super flex league, I'm gonna say it right now. If you're in a super flex league, take Gentry.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah. The position players are definitely better.
I also think that Iggy and I were talking about this too with Hunter. He could potentially play defensive back and also wide receiver. So if you're in an IDP league, it could be good. But I am avoiding him.
I like McMillan. I actually think McMillan's going to have more NFL success at wide receiver.
Yeah, 6'5". Gotta love that.
Yeah,
6'5" and fast. But there's some really good running backs coming out this year.
Yeah, there is. Yeah,
and not just Jonty.
Well, if you were the Giants and had the number one pick, who are you taking?
You have to take a quarterback.
That's what I mean. I want an answer to that question. That's all I do.
I guess they'll take Sanders. I mean,
probably Sanders because you have the genes and you can probably get a lot of publicity with having Sanders there too.
I suppose.
A little bit better arm than Ward.
I think.
Good.
I mean, I think that's the way you go.
I know in all the leagues I'm drafting in rookie drafts, I'm not even going to bother. I'll be going after. I've got one where I get Jaunty. I've got the 101 in one league. And then I'm going to be looking at guys like either Luther Burden or Judkins or
Good defense.
O'Marion Hampton. I like him a lot.
I think what I'm going to do, I have the 3rd pick in the league. And I think in that league, I'm going to see who goes before me. And if Gentry's gone,
Hope for Tet.
I'm going to trade my pick.
Oh, you're going to trade?
That's not a bad idea if you can find the right guy to trade to.
Especially if you can get late and then a next year pick.
Or even if I can get a player and a pick, 2nd round pick and a player, I'm going to be fine with that. I'll find somebody in the 2nd round. Yeah, I mean, if I have 2 picks in the 2nd round and a player, I'll be okay with that.
Yeah, that is a really good idea.
Because 3rd pick overall in a super flex, if there's at least a quarterback still sitting there, and I do need a quarterback in this league, but I'm not taking a quarterback
just to take one, right?
I'd rather take somebody that I know can at least help me. And maybe I can trade during the year for a quarterback or trade a player for a quarterback that's not as good.
Yeah. I think next year's when Jeremiah Smith comes out too. So, and he would be the first pick this year if he was coming out. Over Tet. But there's a lot of good 2nd round picks. So moving back and getting a second round pick, get a 1st and a 2nd.
There's always guys in that 201 to 208 range that end up being better picks than like the 109. In some cases.
When did Lad McConkey come? He was like early to mid 2nd.
Like even like HA and at like 112, 20, like in some, he was like in the 112, 203 range if you were lucky. But that's I saw people that got him at the 203.
Yeah, that's nice too. When you're not using a 1st round on a running back. Well, this has been a great game.
Oops, too many people on the field or what?
Yeah.
Oopsies. Definitely a barn burner there, I'll tell you that. You're right about that.
DeAndre Swift looks like he's the most effective Bear right now so far from what I've seen.
Yeah, what's his yards?
Not very much.
Not very much.
No.
They just started going to him, and it's been working. So let's see if they can.
Seemed like the Hawks started off big with Charbonnet, and the game just died. It looks like they're using McIntosh more now.
Whoa!
That's a knee injury about to happen.
Thought he was Barkley.
Tyrese Knight is a good linebacker. He was a rookie last year. Or he's a rookie this year. Drafted last year.
Fast, too. Is that Chris Collinsworth? Who's the commentators tonight?
I don't think it is. Hold on. Let me turn it up a little.
I saw this thing.
It's Al Michaels. I think I just heard Al Michaels.
But the color is
I saw this hilarious me. I guess it was a meme a meme video or whatever. And it was like an interrogation. And this guy's like, I won't tell you anything. They're like, all right, bring in the interrogator. And it's Chris Collinsworth. He's like, I'm going to tell you all this stuff about Patrick Mahomes that I love. And he's no.
Guy mentions Patrick Mahomes even when the Chiefs aren't playing. It's nuts.
It's crazy. So funny.
There we go. Keenan Allen. Throw it to him. Oh. All right. See, they should do more quick screens with Komet specifically, but DJ Moore works too.
I don't know if it was against the Vikings when the Bears played, but it was either that week or the week after. No. And all the way through the third quarter until he had one big pass, I think, to Keenan Allen. I think his average was half a yard.
Yeah.
Down the field. That was his longest pass. Like his average that game was half a yard. You're like, wow.
Yeah. I traded him away shortly after on a team that was not going to make the playoffs.
He throws a lot.
And of course, then he went, he's had a good season ever since. As soon as a player leaves my team, it rejuvenates them. Hey, that's one of those padded helmets.
Yeah. Guardian helmet.
Yeah. Rashawn Johnson had a concussion?
No, I think some guys just wear them to stay safe. They're allowed to.
To be honest, it wouldn't bother me. I'd rather have them all with padded helmets and not lose out on a player for 2 or 3 weeks.
I agree.
Doesn't bother me at all.
Right.
In fact, I think that, with all the money and all the brain power into technology, you would think we'd be able to, create better protection for players. Whether it's the shoulder pads, whether it's the helmet.
As much as you say that, it also depends on what the player wants to put on them.
Oh, yeah. They want to, you look at the guys, they don't even wear knee pads anymore.
You look at quarterbacks, dude, they have no pads. And that's why I think they took away the fact that you can't slam them anymore, because you imagine slamming your whole weight on somebody who has nothing to protect them.
And he's out there also much smaller for the most part. So on top of that, you get paid all the money. All the money. Gonna protect the assets.
I'm gonna tell you right now.
What's up with DJ Moore over there?
My favorite thing ever is seeing Kirk Cousins fail. So him not getting the $10 million, they're gonna get rid of him before he gets the $10 million bonus. I'm in love. I love everything about that.
I do too, because he's a fraud, and I when he went to Minnesota and he had Justin Jefferson and stuff, and then he went to Atlanta, and everybody thought he was gonna elevate Drake London and Kyle Pitts and stuff. I was like, that ain't gonna happen. He'll have some good games, but he was a product of Justin Jefferson and Addison and Hawkins and the whole you were talking about
and Dig.
Yeah, dude. He was, even when he was with Washington, he was like a spark plug, but
he was 1-4 in the playoffs.
You knew that he wasn't the guy that was going to get you where you wanted to go.
He's played 10, 11 years now. He's 1-4 in the playoffs. Awesome.
He also has a bad Monday Night Football record. I think they basically just look at primetime games, and he always comes up small. There's a touchdown.
A Dunze.
Weren't you just saying how good he was?
He is.
Except back.
Oh, they called it back? Come on. Thank God I'm still not in Scott Fish, because I built my whole team around the Chicago stack. The rest of the team was like perfect. And then I had Caleb Williams, DJ Moore, and Odunze. It got to the point where I started starting Cavante Turpin over Odunze, and I was looking for kick returners and running backs, like stashed a ton of running backs every week. I was hogging all the running backs on the waiver wire.
I got hit with injuries. My team, I'm taking the first 3 weeks, I was top 10. And then it went like this. Injuries.
I remember when he was fast.
Keenan Allen?
No, Swift.
Oh, that was the
Quick.
thing?
He's still fast, but he's just not quick anymore. Like, he was really quick before.
He was like a dart. He would just it was hard, make you miss in the field so often.
Another field goal.
Yeah, 3-3 game. That's what we came here for.
Boom. I was hoping you missed it. And I'll be like, oh, you're wrong, Rick. 3-0 game. Chips, come on.
Yeah. You're going to have to start moving the watch parties to a different day.
Oh, we do them on Mondays, too. It's just as rough.
Yeah, I know people, say, oh, gee, they would want football every night if they could, or every day if they could. I'd rather just be on Sundays and have good games.
Well, you still get shit games Sunday nights, too.
Sundays.
Any primetime game, you're effed. Thursday nights, they can play 3 games, right?
They can.
Then there's no primetime game. There's no focus.
Don't need it.
Focus. That's the issue.
I'm a fan of the 2 Monday nights and get rid of the Thursday.
Yeah, anything to get rid of Thursday because the short week. And they say that they have statistics that show that Thursday night games don't have any more injuries than the rest of the week. But it always just seems that whenever I have an important player, they get hurt on a Thursday.
I just don't feel like the games are ever like you'll get like 3 great Thursday night games out of the whole year. You're like, wow.
Plus, what happens, and this is why I don't like to play players on Thursday nights, is if your player has a bad game, then you think about it for the next 3 days. It just eats at you. Or conversely, like they had a game yesterday, and all of a sudden I'm 50 points down.
Yeah. You'll have that, though. Sometimes your team can come back, though. You never know.
Yeah. Well,
You never know.
It does change the way you approach the game, though. It's like you can't just choose, players that are just going to get you that, floor of points. You got to get guys that have a chance to break it open for you.
Let me tell you what really sucks.
Which does. It's just so much more pressure on your game. You'd rather just have like a basic team, where.
So I played
in Allen's.
I played in a playoff game or in a championship game the year that the Saints were playing the Vikings, which is against my team, and Alvin Kamara, who I was playing against, decided to score 6.
I remember that game.
Thursday night. So I started against a 50-something point. That was how my championship week started. So not only did my team, the Vikings, lose by a shit ton, I also lost on a Thursday night.
Yeah. That hurts. Although the upside of that is it frees your weekend.
I actually had Kirk Cousins socks on. I threw them in the garbage that night.
Yeah, that one Alvin Kamara game has been like talked
He hasn't-
about through
Oh, I
history.
saw that he hasn't said since that game. He hasn't had a 6 touchdown year, rushing touchdown year. Crazy.
You know who's had a good year touchdown wise is at least James Cook. I think he's
Oh, he's been a beast.
I traded.
I wish I had more of them. I had them in like 1 or 2 spots, but I wish I had them in Scott Fish, but I wish I took them more. I kind of went away from them as late August draft season approached. I don't know why.
I traded him. I traded him away for this guy right now. He's fighting everybody. DK.
Yeah, I had him on my Scott Fish Bowl team too.
I targeted running backs and tight ends. I thought that was the way to go this year, and late on quarterback because of the 50 passing yard, the 50 yards for a point. I kind of devalued quarterbacks there unless they were the running quarterback.
He's gonna be gone.
So I had McBride as my tight end, and
Me too. I took him in the second.
Damn. Yeah.
and then I went Pitts.
Oh.
Yeah, so I killed that strategy.
My goal was to get one elite player to fill out the ones. You had to start one quarterback, one
position.
Yeah.
Smart.
And then bully a position or two, and it ended up being running back, which was the right choice.
So I had Josh Allen and Baker Mayfield, which my quarterbacks were great. Not running quarterbacks, and that really. Josh Allen runs, but Baker Mayfield is not a running quarterback. But having Cook was really a lucky pick for me.
DK is still talking shit from the sidelines. DK is still talking shit from the sidelines. I love it.
All right, maybe we'll get some scoring now.
DK's
like a fight in hockey. All of a sudden, there's a goal. Right?
You ready? Or another fight.
So, Joe, I figure you played hockey, so I'll have my hockey questions for you.
Okay.
Because we don't have a team down here, so I'm a Kraken fan. My daughter lives up in Seattle, so it was easy to jump on the franchise. Love the advertising. They actually haven't been that bad.
Well, any team that comes in new ends up winning somehow. Was it Vegas's team? They won like year 2.
They got like an illegal. What do you call that? The inaugural draft there, where they pick guys off teams. They took a good. They stole a good player from the Bruins. I was like, what the hell? How'd they get that guy? Like, how was he even available? I forget who it was. He actually played a big role in that first playoffs.
That's how it is, man. No, dang, I'm trying to remember the kid's name, but there's a kid down the street from my sister's house. He went to school with the kid next door to her, and they used to play football with, we would play football with them. They were there, man. He's got to be like maybe 19 or 20 now, but he played with the Kraken this year.
Nice.
That's Minnesota. Same thing around here. You come across a lot of guys that have been in the NHL from the Boston area, Minnesota area.
Yeah, it's fun to go to. My girl, she's never been to a hockey game. I took her to her first hockey game. She's like, like yesterday, she's like, we should go to a game again.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a fun sport.
Hockey games are the best to go to. Yeah, the hockey games are great to go to.
She likes the fighting.
It's a good event to go to and lose your voice.
She likes the fighting. We went to a good one too. It was like within the first 10 minutes, there was like a nice fight. You're like, yes.
Yeah, compare hockey fights to baseball fights.
Well, usually baseball fights, everybody clears their.
Yeah, they're just standing in the field, just kind of like looking at each other.
My favorite is Nolan Ryan, Robin Ventura. That was my favorite.
That was a good one.
Now Lockett's getting into it. This is getting into a feisty game now.
Yeah, because
they just said liven up the game a little bit.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a great game when we're talking about hockey.
Damn.
Well, they just said it on the commentators. They were like, maybe this will liven up the game a little bit.
Big Noah Fant catch here. The best Ponder.
Is that Ryan
not Christian Ponder, but Sam Ponder. She's the breadwinner in that family. Christian Ponder was the biggest bust ever. But Sam Ponder, she is a winner.
I thought Terrace Marshall was the biggest bust ever.
I don't know. He's a big bust, though. I think it'd be Jalen Reagor.
Yeah.
Yeah, that name was.
That's another one. Yeah, people were taking him over Justin Jefferson, right?
Well, Jalen Reagor, the Eagles took him over CeeDee Lamb and Justin Jefferson.
That's
so that really sucks.
Oh man, that's like New England Patriots status right there.
All of a sudden,
dude, I think they
having a season.
I think they took Arcega-Whiteside over DK Metcalf too.
Oh, so bad.
Following year.
They were trying to find that slasher and instead they should have just been taking the best wide receiver. Yeah.
They fucked up. The funny thing is we end up with Jalen Reagor later.
So did the Patriots. I think they cut him in, I forget what week. They cut him in like week 5, I think.
He's so bad. He's not good.
Are we going to get our first touchdown of the day?
No.
Let's see.
I don't think so. I don't think it's going to be up on a field goal.
Oh.
Yeah.
He got out. He's going to get. Nope, he slid.
Gino says, I'm smart. So the graphic on that you're displaying is way behind, right?
Yeah, probably.
Trying to figure out what it's trying to tell me. They're on the 30. No, where are they? Started on that.
They're like on the 25, I think. Come on, catch up.
So did anyone put a bet on first touchdown?
No.
No.
I saw, so I don't know what game it was the other week, but somebody was pissed off when nobody scored a touchdown. They were like, how do they have all these first touchdown score bets and they don't, like, it's like, dude, you can pick no touchdowns? That's also a bet you could pick. McConaughey.
You know what he needs to bring back? It'd be a lot cooler if you did. He needs to use that somewhere in a commercial.
Oh, I thought you meant smoking weed.
No, the quote. Well, the actual quote. Like, that was his thing. That's what made him famous. Though.
Cooler if you did, yeah. Boston Harbor. So you're a Sox fan then?
I suppose. I can't say no.
I've been to the stadium once.
Once I saw them win the World Series, I I was less diehard. I'll be honest about that.
You
But
took Big Poppy from us.
that was a good trade. What was it, a trade? Or did we just steal it? I remember. I remember. I remember Pedro was like, "You need to get that guy," and they did.
Yeah, he was a beast, man. He played DH for us.
He is such a clutch hitter. Such a clutch hitter. And
Go ahead.
boy, did he know how to hit to left field in Fenway. He perfected that through his years.
He was left here too. Yeah, I mean, yeah, he was Ortiz, man.
So there's a local bar in the town I'm in, and they have on a whole one side of the wall, there's a picture of Ted Williams, Larry Bird, Bobby Orr, and Tom Brady. I say it every time I'm in there. They need to replace Ted Williams with David Ortiz. I don't care how good Ted Williams was. David Ortiz got the job done for the Boston fans.
Yeah, I agree.
So Mel pointed out the weather, and yes, this is ugly. Cincinnati-Denver game is going to be. There's a good chance it's going to be pretty ugly too, which, both for Knicks and for Burrow.
When's that game?
Expecting heavy rains. That is on Saturday.
Ooh,
in Cincinnati. So yeah, think about all the Cincinnati players that people are hoping for on their championship week, and Surtain and Riley Moss Moss is going to be back in the starting lineup, so it's going to be a tough one. So you were right. This was not going to be a touchdown.
Look at this block, man. Whoop, get your hands up. Always.
Wow.
That rain is coming down. What's up, dog?
Number 5 like. That's all we got was 5 likes.
Boom. And it's good. 50 in a pouring rain. That's not so bad.
Field goal fest.
Myers?
He's pretty good, actually.
Yeah, he's great.
Was he on Miami before?
Yeah.
He was, right?
Yeah.
I remember one game, I think he had 7 or 8 field goals against the Patriots one game.
Boswell, week 1. Dude, he had fucking 25 points.
Yeah, Boswell had a super year.
My favorite kicker this year is Siebert, and then he had to get hurt. He was the most. I bet on him every week to hit the over. Every week, and he hit every single week. I was like, that's like the easiest bet to make every week. It was crazy. And then he got hurt, and I'm like, damn it. Who am I going to rely on now?
He's back, though. And I'm starting him in the week 17.
He was on IR. Siebert, kicker for
no. I thought you were talking about Reichert. Yeah, the Minnesota kicker.
Right, yeah. I like him too. He's been great.
Yeah, I don't think he missed a kick up until when he was hurt.
Yeah, he got hurt that week and he missed 2 kicks.
But he missed one last week, and
I think it was him coming back.
Yeah, but should be a good because I think they're in the dome, right? Yeah, they're playing in Minnesota, so I'm starting him on my one and done.
I like Reichert,
but I think I'm enough points behind that it's going to be tough for me to jump up much higher than I am right now. So,
where's your mindset, Rick?
If I would have started Mahomes over,
what was the choice? Don't say Bo Nix.
No, I wasn't starting Bo Nix. Love.
Okay. Yeah. All right. I don't hate that.
Yeah.
That's tough. Mahomes hasn't done anything. He come out of nowhere.
All season long, week 17, 3 touchdowns.
Well,
I don't know. Last week he did pretty well. The week before,
you know that Kansas City has the New England Patriots approach now. They don't start doing shit until week 16.
Yeah, and also that they play well enough just to win.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. It's actually quite impressive what they have accomplished this year.
Part of the problem is that teams play against them and they'll take the kick because they want to get points against Kansas City,
Right.
and it always opens the door for Kansas City to win in the last minute.
I think it's going to catch up with them at some point this year. Even maybe Josh Allen or Lamar's got to beat him. They got to get over the hump. That's why Baltimore went out and got Derrick Henry. I think so that Lamar can have space to perform.
I'm in Montgomery, Texas, which is about an hour north of Houston. So depending on your definition of south, I'm south of Dallas, but
I think she's down by the
not all the way down in Brownsville.
I think Mel's by the border.
Oh, Mel, whereabouts? Brownsville?
She's a Packers fan. She's from Green Bay. Her kids are all from there.
Hi, Bella. Maybe today's your day. It hurts to see them passed over.
So she's from Sniper Mel's from Green Bay?
Yeah. Mel, where are you from down there? I don't remember.
South Padre Island? If so, I'll be down there.
South Padre.
That's nice there. That's
right.
Closest thing we have to beaches are down there.
72 months. Consumer and retailers will make a minimum $300 donation to charity.
Oh.
Oh, we're at halftime, guys. We survived.
Is it halftime?
Yeah.
Halftime.
No touchdowns. Who's going to score the touchdown in the second half?
Whoever it is, we're not going to be seeing it.
All right.
Okay, well, thank you very much for letting me come and join the party.
We're all about having a party. Appreciate you both coming in. If anybody doesn't know that both of these two now are helping us do some work here at the Sports Affiliation. So appreciate you both. We're going to have some fun with this.
Darn tootin'.
A lot of fun. What do you think? Who's going to win this game?
Who's going to win this game? I think Seattle.
Seattle, yeah.
I'm just going to say Seattle, too, because they're my second team. But
I like the Bears better than the Chiefs the Seahawks as a fan, but I think this is going to go to Seattle. The Bears haven't shown any signs of life at all. Outside of DeAndre Swift, and he ain't going to get it done.
No, he's not doing good. No, he looks terrible. It is what it is. Yeah, I don't know if we're gonna get a lot of points from a lot of people in this game. Besides kickers, defense, maybe. Hopefully, there's some action. It would be nice to see some touchdowns, but
at least one.
He has let me down. He's been he's a very huge diva, man. He's starting to turn into Diggs. Don't like it. All right, y'all. Appreciate you hanging out with us. Appreciate you two hanging out with us.
You bet.
Absolutely, JC.
Hey, see you guys later,
huh? By the time we'll be back, what I said, Monday is the 29th. Watch party on the 29th, and then it'll be the New Year's. So
I'm gonna hop on next week for sure because I love Joe Pepe and tell him to hang on for about 5 or 10 minutes just so I can say hello to him for the first time.
Oh, Joe's awesome.
He's one of my favorite followers. So
I love him too. Appreciate everyone hanging out.
Yeah, we do.
All right, we're out of here.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Later, guys. Good night.